such a hard time condemning the phrase globalizing intifada?
I think he's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is a communist. I said there will never be socialism in the United States. Now we have a communist. So I think he's bad news. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with him, watching him, because he has to come right to this building to get his money. And don't worry, he's not going to run away with anything. I think he's, frankly, I've heard he's a total nut job. I think the people of New York are crazy. If they go this route, I think they're crazy. We will have a communist for the first time, really, a pure, true communist. He wants to operate the grocery stores, the department stores. What about the people that are there? I think it's crazy.
Trump has become the biggest surrogate for left-wing populists around the world. From Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party in Canada to movements across Europe, Australia, and even here in New York, where Zohran Mamdani, a Muslim Indian born in Africa, just won the Democratic primary. All these victories have one thing in common, and that's Trump. Instead of helping conservatives get elected, he's been hurting their chances. The only reason he gets away with it is because the Democratic leadership is as bad, deep in the pockets of AIPAC and corporate interest, making them barely any different from the Republicans. But don't look away. The progressive wing of the Democratic Party is rising up, as in Zohran's victory. This is the most energy a Democratic candidate have received since Trump's humiliating 2024 win over the Democrats. You would expect Democratic leadership to be excited, right? Wrong. They are just as vicious against Mamdani as the Republicans. And why? Because he dared to say that the mayor of New York has no business in visiting Israel to bend the knee.
Visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my fourth trip to Israel, followed by my fifth trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
Notice.
As a state with equal rights.
He won't, he
Not
won't
as
say
a
it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear.
his answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that very
That's what he was
clearly.
trying to say.
No, unlike
No,
you, I
you
answer,
never-
unlike
you
you, I
never
answer
said
questions
no.
very
Okay.
directly.
All right, I
and
think
I
we're
want to
clear.
be
You
very
answered-
clear. I
you
believe
answered-
every state should be a state of equal rights.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mamdani.
How dare you?
How dare you?
So now, the Democratic Party leadership is actively working against their own candidate.
You saw right now, not a lot of love from the Democratic Party leadership, certainly the establishment. You get the AOCs, you get the Bernie Sanders, but you're not getting the leadership of the party saying, hey, you know what, this guy's offering us a template, let's rally behind him. The way that you would see maybe on the Republican side, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
Republicans.
There are 2 camps in the Democratic Party. On one side, you have the populist wing, people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, who care about the working class and the poor. On the other side, you have the establishment leadership representing the Jewish lobby like AIPAC and corporate interest. Figures like Hakeem Jeffrey, popularly known as Timu Obama. And then you have the senators from New York, Chuck Schumer, who is also the leader of the Democrats in the Senate. And also you have the junior senator of New York, Christine Gillibrand. And all these characters are in leadership and they are attacking the Democratic primary candidates in New York. by the name Zohran Mamdani. You would think they would be excited, such a big grassroots victory, but they answer to the same paymasters. Mamdani put his campaign in the spotlight by being the only politician with the courage to say what the American people actually want to hear in the New York Democratic debate. He called out both Trump and the Democratic establishment for their failures to serve the working class. His victory was a referendum on Trump's failed Iran strike and the broader foreign policy failures. Now, Trump is inserting himself again, threatening to cut federal funding for New York if Mamdani is elected. But we know he can't do that. New York is traditionally a donor state, which means it sends more in federal taxes than it receives in return. So why can't the city do the same? They can just stop sending money to the federal government, right? That's taxes without representation. That's part of the game. This is just one of another Trump's theatrical threats, not real, just some red meat for the base. As Trump continues to fail on tariff, foreign policy, and global alliances, the coalition he once rallied to get elected is starting to collapse. You could tell his best buddy Elon Musk has already broken away with them, and they're actively fighting on Twitter as we speak. And with his big beautiful bill, which will add $5 trillion to the deficit, why cutting $1 trillion from Medicaid, a program used heavily by most of his supporters? Now, Republicans are practically guaranteed to lose the midterms. The only thing saving Trump is the Democratic leadership being just as bad as the Republicans. But at least now, after the big beautiful bill passes, Republicans can no longer pretend to be the party of fiscal conservatism. Trump will have added more to the national debt than any American president in history. Now think about that.